Hello and welcome to the Host Sports Show. I'm your host, Jessica Gardner. Joining me today is the Irish cyclist and Olympic hopeful Lara Gillespie. Let's get into it. Okay, Lara, so when Host Sport last spoke to you, you were still a student, you were still studying, but since then you have been performing extremely well on the international stage. You've been participating in competitions with the Irish team, and you're also involved in a training camp in Canada. But just going back to graduating from college, how does it feel to have finally graduated?
Yeah, so good. It's really nice just being full time and being able to put all my energy and effort into traveling and racing and training. So it's definitely, yeah, really satisfying. But I'm so glad that I did that, that I put in that effort to try and balance both. And I actually now I'm doing like a part-time research job with UCD. So I'm just kind of continuing my academic progress, but in a slower rate, basically.
And in terms of the training camp in Canada, are you still involved with that?
Yeah, it was actually a World Cup that we had there 2 weeks ago in Canada. It was one of the Olympic qualifiers. We've had four so far. We had three World Cups and a European Championships, which were all Olympic qualifiers. So it was a good trip, and we're making good progress towards qualifying. So yeah, it's very positive.
Very exciting. And last year, it was announced that you were selected to be one of the recipients of the OFI Paris Scholarship. And these scholarships aim to support the athletes in their preparation for the Paris 2024 Olympics and to assist them on their qualification journey. How did you feel when you found out that you were awarded that scholarship?
I was, yeah, so happy, and every little bit really does help towards the Olympics, and it really was just a relief, to be honest, financially. And also all the people who are in Olympic Ireland, they're just so supportive and so positive. And I've gotten to know some of the other scholarship recipients, so that's also been really nice. So yeah, I was really delighted, and it's really making a big difference in the over these few years.
And who was the first person you told when you found out?
I don't know, probably my boyfriend or my family.
And for some who may not know, in which event are you aiming to qualify for the Olympics?
So our main priority for qualifying is the team pursuit, because the team pursuit qualifies automatically us for the Madison and for the Omnium, which I also would love to do. So the team pursuit is kind of our way to do that. And so that's the 4 kilometer time trial with four of us. And then I'd also love to get selected for the Madison, which is two riders in the race for 120 laps. And then also I'd love to get selected for the Omnium, which is an individual event in a bunch endurance race. So those three events, and also the road. I'd love to do the road, but we'll see how that if that would be possible or not. But the track team pursuit is our vessel right now.
Okay. And how many competitions are left until you will know if you managed to qualify?
So we have World Championships in August, and then we have the same again as this year, where we have 3 World Cups and a European Championships. So we won't really know until this time next year, really, if we're 100% in, but we'll know pretty much after next year's Europeans, probably, if there's something drastic that we need to fix. But it's looking good right now.
And what would making it to the Olympics mean for you?
It would just be so special, to be honest. When I remember when I was like, I don't know what age, maybe 8 years old, and I was running around in the playground in school, and I remember thinking I was really fast playing catch, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the Olympics in 2020 for sprinting. I think I remember saying in my head. So it's funny how I wasn't a cyclist at all back then, and I just loved sport in general. And it's funny that I just kind of plucked that out of thin air, and then it is happening. But it's not that every year that was like that's all I want to do. But it's funny how it comes around and it actually is a possibility now.
And just going way back to the beginning of your journey, when was it that you actually got involved in cycling?
I've always done mountain biking just for fun my whole life. But then I didn't actually start racing until, well, I did like random mountain bike races, but they wouldn't really count. That was just for fun. And then in fourth year, I started doing some road racing. So I was like 15 or 16. And then the next year I was 17 and I did, no, maybe I was still 16. I did the Youth Olympics. So it's kind of from then on.
And in terms of your training schedule at present, how does it look? How intense is it? What are some of the schedules that you may be following? Can you please share that?
Yeah, so we have coaches and they kind of prescribe all our training. And right now, yeah, it's quite intense. And especially in between the races, because we race a lot as cyclists, especially when you do road and track. So we have races at least every second weekend, or maybe every weekend, and maybe twice in a weekend. So fitting in training in between that is hard, but it's finding that balance between rest and training. Right now I have 9 days until my next race. So today I could do a big 4.5, 5 hour ride. And then I'll have like a double day tomorrow, or I'll have gym and a ride, or so yeah, it takes up a lot, like almost the whole day, but it's good fun.
Okay, and when you do find those moments when you can actually just chill for a bit, what are some of the favorite things that you like to do?
Yeah, well, usually when I come home, I love coming home. I live in Wicklow and it's just in the nature and I love where I live. So it's really special to come home to my family and just reconnect with everyone. But also usually I kind of you're very often like on a high after competition, or like when you're traveling, and then you come home and you do kind of hit a low and you just have to relax for a day or two fully and let yourself feel that like just tiredness really is what it is. And I just like to spend my time in nature, like gardening, or just not even doing anything, just going for really slow walks with my dog or something like this, or just cooking with my granny, because I live with my granny when I'm home sometimes. Um, so just those like simple things which I really miss when I'm away, but also when I do come home, I love it, but I'm really tired.
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
Mm.
And in terms of just before competitions, do you have like a particular mantra or ritual that you do just before you get on that bike?
It would be cool if I did. I don't think I do. I just kind of focus on breathing really,
Okay.
and just being focused, I guess.
Okay, so there's no like go-to song that you might just listen to.
No, I don't really. My music just really depends on how I want to feel or how I am feeling, and it can vary from like really intense music or like classical music. So it really depends on the day or not.
That's awesome. And then what or who do you think has been the biggest motivation in your cycling career?
Um, I don't know what my motivation, what I'd say it is. I just love it so much and I really enjoy doing it every day. So even when I'm going through a hard time, like even today on the bike, it was quite hard, but I didn't really have to think of something to motivate me. It was more that I just do it. And I do find little bits of joy even when it gets really hard. Or today it was like absolutely lashing down on me. And then I just played like really calm classical music in my ears and I just was like romanticizing it almost, like, oh, this is actually really cool. I'm just out here getting beaten by the rain, but I'm like smiling and laughing about it. So I don't really think of something in particular to motivate me in those moments. I just try to enjoy the highs and the lows. And the same with the person. I'm also not very good at that either.
And yeah, so cycling has a history of being a male-dominated sport. Cycling Ireland decided to investigate this fact along with the research team, and they found that the most significant factors limiting female participation were lack of confidence and a perception of exclusivity. What are your thoughts on that statement?
Yeah, I think it can be hard for women because the media really focuses a lot on the men. And I actually hadn't really noticed how bad it was even until this week. I noticed on one particular cycling forum where it was just men, male news, and maybe the odd Irish woman was getting noticed. But all the rest of the media was about either Irish men or international men, but nothing about international women, like any of the world champions who are women, and only really about men. So it's like you can't even see who the best of the best are of the women for women to aspire to be, or even just a normal, like, average cyclist. So I think that plays a big part in it, because if you're not in the mix and you're looking from the outside and that's all you see, then it's kind of hard to see a space for you to fit in. So I think that it plays a big part. But actually then when you get involved and then you actually realize there are lots of women groups, like there's lots of females taking part, and once you're in it, you don't feel less than too much. So I think it's just kind of breaking that media barrier where if you're looking from the outside, it does look like there's a big difference.
Very true. And what also would you say to, so I know for even me sometimes when the thought of trying a new sport or even going to gym and trying to use a new equipment that I've never even tried before can sometimes be very daunting. So have you maybe ever encountered a situation like that, and what has helped you to sort of motivate you to think, okay, I'm just going to do it?
Yeah, I actually had this quite recently because usually I've used my university gym, the high performance gym there, and it's like very quiet, only athletes there. And then I had to use a more public gym and it was so crowded, and I just hadn't been in that position before, and I was so overwhelmed. And even though I know exactly what I'm doing, I've done my exercises a million times, I did sports science, I know how to do things, and even still I did get that anxiety. And I had the thought to just go, oh, I should just walk out of here and it'll be so much easier. It's so much easier if I just go home. And then I did. I went out the door and then I said, what am I doing? That's so stupid, like letting that get in the way. And generally, I'm not someone who really cares what other people think in those kind of scenarios. And I don't think you should live your life worrying about what other people think. But it was just that you walk in and it's so overwhelming. You don't know where to go. You don't know where the space for you is. But then I just said, well, I'm not letting something like that affect my day and affect my plan and affect my goals. So that was my motivation, that like I have the control there, where I don't have to give away the control and change my plans just because I feel a little bit uncomfortable, and actually I can be stronger and break through that.
So the Barretstown Cycle Challenge is coming up in June, and you recently said that you are delighted to support the Barretstown Cycle Challenge, as it's a great opportunity for cyclists to hit the roads together for such a great cause. Could you please share with us what that challenge is about, and why do you think the challenge is going to be such a great opportunity for all cyclists?
Yeah, well, it's you can either pick between a 1, 2, or 3-day cycle, which I think opens up to a wide variety of people. You don't even have to be a regular cyclist. You can just do it because of the day out and because of the great cause that it is. But then if you also want a nice group to ride with for 3 days or 2 days and get a good training session in, meet some new people and ride for the cause, then I think it's just a really cool opportunity to do that, because you don't get to do that very often, and the weather will be nice. But particularly Barretstown, just all the people who work with Barretstown and anyone who I've met so far, they just are so kind. And I think just being involved with anyone who is involved with them is a positive thing. And yeah, the reason why I'm passionate about it is just because of, I don't actually have anyone close to me who's been impacted by Barretstown or like helped by them, but just by family, friends, or everyone in Ireland kind of knows Barretstown and how amazing they are for kids and for families. So I think when I just thought it was the right thing to do, and I feel good about it, and I really have loved getting to meet the people around there. So I just think everyone should get involved.
Okay, and will you be there this year?
I'm not sure yet because the dates are messy between traveling and stuff, but I'm hoping to be.
Okay, awesome. And then what advice would you give to a young athlete, specifically a young girl who has just taken up a sport that they're interested in, be it cycling or athletics? Yeah.
Well, if they're interested in, then just go for it and do what feels right. Make friends and ask questions to anyone. Learning, like, no one should be embarrassed about learning. I'm still learning every single day, and I think that's the fun of it. Even if you're a professional or a straight beginner, you're still learning new things every day. So ask questions, meet coaches, and just do what feels right. Like, don't feel pressured to do what other athletes or other people are doing, and don't feel pressure from parents or whatever. Just be strong in yourself and do what makes you happy. If training once a week makes you happy, if training once a day makes you happy, then do that.
Okay, thanks for that. And then if you had to describe what cycling has done for you in your life and how it's defined you today, what would you say?
Well, it's given me so much opportunity to meet people, to travel the world, to compete against the best in the world. It's an opportunity to, like, literally better myself every day, where I'm challenging my mindset, challenging my body physically, and all these just opportunities I'm just so happy to have, and I feel really grateful to have these opportunities. Um, it's crazy that's become my job, because I get to go outside and explore every single day and have that little bit of fun, even if it gets hard. It's fun, and that's the kind of point of it, of sport, I guess. It also helped me get through, like, hard times where when I was ill, that then I have this almost purpose that you keep fighting for, you keep trying to get better, you keep trying to make little bits of progress, because there's something waiting for you at the end that oh, it's going to feel so good when I'm healthy and I can feel physically my best again. And sport is such an amazing way to feel that when you feel strong in yourself. So I think that's how it's helped me. And then I don't know how it's defined me. I guess I'm just competitive, and yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you again for the next episode. Be sure to subscribe to Her Sports social platforms to get the latest women in sports content.